the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast. I'm glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Brett and Faith here with you on a Wednesday morning, hump day, as we get closer to the start of the college football season for the Auburn Tigers. Just a couple of days away now for the Auburn Baylor game. It is here, and we're still talking about it, and we're going to still find angles to talk about until we get this thing kicked off. And a lot of fun leading up to this game. Faith, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good to see you. I'm good. It feels like we're in the back end of the week, but we are just smack in the middle.
Everything's been kind of off when you have a Friday game. You're thinking high school football for Friday, and there's a lot of high school football on Thursday, so we get a double dose before the weekend even gets here, before Saturday even gets here. So, and then it's Labor Day weekend coming up. I mean, we were talking about that yesterday, so it's just a whirlwind. But what do you expect? It's that time of year. You and I were over at practice yesterday, and it was a brief stint, but did learn some things while we were there. We did put out a little brief video yesterday afternoon, or yesterday, I guess, midday. And then we had a great on location at Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine, Coach Williams. And I know that was fun, a lot of fun. And then, of course, everything else that we've got going on as well, just a ton that we'll go back into from what we saw yesterday. We didn't get to go in depth a lot, but a couple things that did stand out. And then, of course, I want to talk about depth. I know we've talked about our depth chart, but depth makes a difference, obviously. And that's something Auburn hasn't had the luxury of having the last 3 or 4 years. And I know why we've struggled in a lot of areas. A lot of that may be contributing, one of the biggest contributing factors, the depth. I mean, just haven't had the pieces that teams that you've lost to have had.
Yeah, I mean, you see, when we were going over yesterday on, I think, the noon show, we were going over the depth chart, and a lot of the names were all in bold because any one of them were able to be considered a starter. And, even just taking out and replacing one or two, you don't feel like you're moving backwards in who you're bringing in. You feel like you still have the exact same amount of energy and talent in each guy that you're either subbing out or, switching around. So, yeah, again, the depth is just crazy on this team.
It is. And I think, although we've talked about it quite a bit, I think it's a point of emphasis for Auburn's success this year and how much success it's going to have. Again, Coach Freed, since he's gotten to Auburn's talked about depth chart not being where it needs to be, and Auburn's got to build back up. And we had gotten, to a point where we're not in the top half of this conference with a roster that is capable of competing for championships. I don't think that's the case anymore. Again, we're going to know a lot more on Friday. We're not going to know everything, but we're going to know a lot more Friday. We'll have something to go off of and to analyze and to see, okay, this is how many guys got in on defense for Auburn. These are the ones that played in the receiving corps for Auburn. And I know we'll talk about some things that stood out to us yesterday that are of noteworthy. One being Eric Singleton, we'll talk about here in just a second. But, I think all of that makes a difference, especially when you're in close games against teams like Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M. We already proved that we can win that game last year, but that was a bizarro game. That was a game where Auburn got up really big, and then Texas A&M came back, took the lead, and then it went to overtime. We all know how it ended up. But I'm talking about starting off even from first quarter to fourth quarter, toe-to-toe with a team that you feel like is one of the top echelon teams in college football, and you play toe for toe, and you've got a chance to win the game at the end because you have a roster that is comparable to the team you're playing.
Yeah, you bring up Texas A&M game, and I think that brings up a lot of good and bad feelings for everybody, because it was something that was almost a consistent thing in each game of you get up, you let it go somewhere, and they come back, whoever it is. Oklahoma, we saw that, specifically in that game we lost. It is a matter of not repeating the same mistakes that we did last year. After it feels like you get up and you can let off the gas a little bit, and then what happens?
You want to know why Auburn fans are always glass half empty minded when you're up 20?
Because we do the same thing.
Well, because of that game. That game is a perfect snapshot of the emotional roller coaster of being an Auburn fan. Up 21-0 in the first quarter, just nobody, like everybody sits around and goes, well, this ain't going to last. Instead of enjoying the moment, going, man, we are kicking their tail and we're about to take this on up to 28 and we're going to run them out of here. You go, well, I'm not real confident. And
we're
then
going to do something Auburn.
And then you look up and it's tied. And it's like, see, I told you this is why I didn't get excited about it.
You do something Auburn and you lose.
Hey, I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and I thought this was funny. The 2013 Georgia game, obviously the prayer at Jordan-Hare. We're up 20 points, and I've got a personal part of this story too. I text my dad. I'm like, man, we were kicking. He's like, we're going to blow it. He's like, we'll blow it. And I'm like, we're not blowing this. I'm like, we're up 20. He's like, I'm telling you, they'll come back and take the lead. And I'll be damned if they didn't. And he's like, told you. And somebody else I was talking to the other day said, never felt good about it. Was up 20, never felt good about it. Georgia came back, took the lead, and then the guy I was talking to is like, I'm still pissed about that game, even though we won it. He's like, we didn't deserve to win that game. We blew it. And I'm like, this is Auburn. This is who we are. And this is why we can't ever be comfortable, no matter what the amount of the lead is. We always feel like there's going to be some implosion. And now, okay, the positive side of this, let's go back to the Texas A&M game. You lose the lead, you come back, you have a chance to win in regulation, you don't do it, you tie it, go to overtime, then it's back and forth, and everybody's an emotional roller coaster. And then you find out, finally, the other team drops the pass in the end zone, and that's how you win the game. And it's like, that is about the most fitting end to an emotional roller coaster game for an Auburn fan as you can have. Just if you want to know why Auburn fans are schizophrenics, go back and just watch that Texas A&M game, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Because it wasn't Auburn doing anything magnificent to win the game, because
they just dropped it.
Yeah, he dropped the pass.
Which would have meant we'd have gone to another overtime because we had already scored, obviously. But it would have just been, here we go. Let's just drag this pain out even longer. So we can all laugh at ourselves, right? That's one of those old adages, we got to laugh at ourselves. If not, we'll go crazy. But that is the case. Like that's the one game I think we can cling to that's been a big win for us in the last, 2 or 3 years. Now we have a roster where we feel like we can go toe-to-toe and not have to worry about, okay, we've got to play outstanding and they kind of play bad to give us a chance to win. We shouldn't have to do that anymore.
And shouldn't be expecting to win only because a team is having an off night.
Right.
Or we catch them,
And we have to almost play perfect to have a chance.
Right. I mean, this year we've got Texas A&M and Oklahoma on the road and not at home like we did last year. And It's going to be so much harder to play in College Station than it was in Jordan-Hare last year.
Of course. Absolutely.
So that makes a huge difference too.
And that's an afternoon game. So, again, Auburn's had a lot of success there. since Texas A&M's been in this conference. We've gone over and we've won several times there. Vice versa, they've come into Auburn and they've been able to get a couple wins too. But for the most part, Auburn's had success there. Obviously, we've never been to Oklahoma. That's a series that has only matched us up 3 times. We should have won that one last year without a doubt. That's one that didn't end well for us. The A&M game did end well for us. The Oklahoma game, almost similar, up 21-10 in the fourth quarter, and you lose that game. And we almost did it at A&M, and then we were able to come back and at least figure out a way to win it. But you got those 2 games, like you said, on the road. So will you split those this year? I mean, I think everybody would say that is a win schedule-wise if we split those 2. We'd love to win both, but you dang sure don't want to lose both. And we've kind of gone back and forth on that of how important it is if we're navigating the schedule, getting to 8, 9, or even more wins, you got to get one of those.
Yeah, having one of those. Well, we have talked about the first 6 games in the season and how important it is to at least win 5, maybe 4 if you really like. 4 is if you're losing one of those games and if you lose to Georgia. Your confidence in playing Georgia is sky high right now.
It is. I mean, I look at, again, Georgia coming into this game this year or coming into this season. And look, Gunnar Stockton may just torch everybody. But right now, I don't feel that the Georgia fans even have the confidence that they've had over the last several years. And we'll see. I mean, they're going to still be deep and talented. But we have that game at night at home. And so it's time for Auburn to step back up and play the way we're used to Auburn playing over the years in Jordan-Hare at night. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. And so, again, we'll know a lot more about Georgia come that week. And, of course, we'll know a lot more about us. I know if you're tuning this in right now and you're going, why the hell are they talking about Auburn and Georgia and Texas A&M, Oklahoma? We're talking about the depth piece toe-to-toe with teams like this. Auburn having a roster that can go toe-to-toe. Now, I know we've talked Baylor to death, and we're going to get back to Baylor in just a minute because we're 2 days away. But just looking at the difference in this team versus the last 3 or 4 years, that is a glaring difference. We do now have a roster that can go out there, and that's, again, Faith said it just a minute ago. When you look at the depth chart that was released on defense, they put everybody in bold. And normally when your name's in bold, that means you're a starter. And everybody kind of laughed about it the other day, and they're like, well, Baylor's going to have a hard time scoring on 32 guys on the field. But the non-funny part is that you've got a lot of guys that you feel good about when you run them out there. It's not, okay, we've got Keldrick Falk, and if he goes out, we're just devastated at defensive end. Or if Jay Crawford goes out at corner, we just don't have anybody that can fulfill his shoes or fill his shoes in place of him. I mean, we don't feel that way anymore. I mean, because you can go down this depth chart and you can list these guys like we've done a million times over the last month and go, okay, yeah, it sucks to lose him. And let's go back to the Malcolm thing, Faith. When we were all wondering how that was going to play out. Yes, losing Malcolm Simmons would have been devastating to the wide receiver room. Wouldn't have been the end of the world. Let's be honest about it. Not with the depth of this wide receiver room. Now, of course, we're already seeing an Eric Singleton in a knee wrap and thigh wrap. How healthy will he be? We ain't even got the season started. So now, okay, if Malcolm were not to be on this team and you have an Eric Singleton problem, now all of a sudden you see how fast things can be in panic mode in a certain position. You feel like, I've got all this depth. But then an injury here, an injury there, somebody not being part of the team anymore. Now all of a sudden that depth's not there. But Auburn didn't even have that luxury the last 3 or 4 years. They had one guy at most every position. If he went down, you were like, well, we're going to have to figure out a way to make up for that because we don't have anybody comparable to go in.
Well, especially last year on the offensive line, because there were some injuries there. And I remember we were talking about last year how Jeremiah Wright was, he was moving into different positions on the offensive line because of injuries. And now you actually have somebody in each true position and somebody behind them if somebody goes down. So then you're not switching, different parts of the offensive line, and everybody gets confused there. You have people actually set for each position and somebody behind each other if they get an injury, instead of doing the whole ring around the rosy thing again that we've seen, which again just makes it so much easier when it comes to, you've been practicing that position all summer, fall camp, everything like that, where okay, you feel confident in each part of the depth of the first string, second string, like that.
No, I agree. And I look down at this and, we talk about I brought up Jay Crawford. What about Rayon Strader? You pretty high on Rayon Strader, Faith?
Yeah.
Could Rayon Strader start for somebody else in this conference? Would he start for most anybody else in the country? Probably. He's backing up one of the best in Jay Crawford. So if Jay Crawford were to go down, your confidence level pretty much stays the same. Again, don't want to lose Jay Crawford. I'm doing hypotheticals here, everybody, so don't everybody panic. Just saying that Rayon Strader coming in behind him is fine. Kay and Lee on the other side. Who do you have backing up? Oh, you only have a transfer in Rayshawn Pleasant that's up for preseason awards as a backup. He's on preseason award list, and he not even projected to start. So I don't remember. And then look on how many potential number one first round draft picks is on this. Now, again, the season's got to play out, but when was the last time we were talking about Auburn having 4 round 1 draft picks on a team? I can't remember. It's been so long. So we've kind of gone down that path. So you look down this list and we talk about, and you asked me the question, you said, what do I think is the strength of this team yesterday coming out of camp? And I said, well, without a doubt, it's the defense. So we all know that. We've talked about it a million times, and I feel like that. So I think that's one of those things that you look at, and then offense, we beat that drum too. We won't go back down that path. But, hey, look, there's some other things that stood out at practice yesterday, and there's a squabble with a TV provider that I think we need to talk about, because there's going to be some pissed off Auburn fans and some Baylor fans, I guess. I don't really care about what they're thinking. I'm thinking about it from our standpoint. If you have a certain TV provider and something doesn't happen today, there's a deadline today. And if it doesn't happen, you're going to be looking for another TV provider. I can bet you anything. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. But first, our partners.
Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean, call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama, proud supporter of Auburn athletics and a proud supporter of the Auburn Blitz podcast. So hot outside, and we're going to go to Waco, Texas, where it's going to be even hotter than it is here. And you want to have a reliable unit in a carrier unit, because they were literally the best. We were just in the locker room the other day, and there was a carrier unit. And so you want to save thousands of dollars on the installation of a carrier unit, call on Sensagreen.
Scout Program Management is a full construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama, and they will take you from the pre-construction phase all the way to the finished product. And if you've got a huge project that you're about to have or undertake with a municipality, an educational institution, they're the ones to call. They're the experts. And again, that's the beautiful thing about all of our partners. They're the experts in their field. And Scout Program Management, I've personally seen them work. You need to call them if you're even contemplating a project like that. You need to get them in on the mix and the planning. They will take care of you. Go check them out on Instagram, on the internet. You will not be sorry, I promise.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. If you like to go and play golf, they're finally open today from the weekend. They've got the golf simulator bays and they've got plenty of other sports on there. 27 if you don't like golf or maybe you get a little frustrated, but they've got two different bars. So even if you aren't going to go play golf, they've got happy hour deals. They've got some amazing food that we love. And so head over to Bunkers. It's a great time over there.
I bet you can. I bet you everything. They'll have the Auburn Baylor game on if you can't make it to Waco, Texas. They've got so many TVs in there. There's no doubt. I don't care what their TV provider is. So talking about that here in just a little bit, we'll get back to that. But first things first. Practice yesterday. It was a very. I felt like we had just gotten out there, and you looked at me, and you went, "Well, that's it." And I'm like, "What's it?" And you went, "That's it. That's all of it." I went, "Oh."
You go, "Yeah, that's it for the period." I said, "That's it for us, period."
Yeah, but that is it for us, period. So, yeah, so we walked out. I don't know that we were there 30 minutes.
No.
Yeah, I don't think we were there 30 minutes. And we had it on location yesterday, so we did not get a chance to stay for the players afterwards. But, I'm going to be just frank about this. I mean, it's the same stuff. It's the same questions asked. It doesn't matter if it's Jackson Arnold or the guy Holden on special teams. They're all saying the same stuff. They're all getting asked the same questions. I mean, we're doing the same thing. If we were there, we'd have gotten the videos and all that. But I'm just saying that at this point, there ain't much else they're going to say that's going to be earth shattering.
And they only had about 2 or 3 minutes each.
Yeah, so it wasn't that long. So we had a great time at Pepper Tree yesterday, and glad Caden Pope was able to come, and of course Corey Williams. We'll talk a little bit more about that before we get off too. But what we did see was a little bit of scout team, but the things that stood out, Eric Singleton wrapped up. He was working through the drills, but he's definitely not 100% without a doubt, and he favored that leg a little bit. And then you mentioned Alex McPherson yesterday in the video, and he did kick about a 50-yarder, but that just doesn't give you a lot of hope with what Coach Freeze has said and him losing weight again and getting his strength's not where it has been and still battling some stuff. This popped back up. I mean, we had not been hearing anything about that until the press conference on Monday. And now, we were all waiting to see what that looked like in practice yesterday. So we did get a brief look at that. But outside of that, that's all we got to go. And now Towns Magoosh looks really good. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do. Again, going back to depth, it's not one of those deals where you go, "Oh, well, we're just dead there." Now I know Towns got thrust into action last year, and it was probably a little bit too soon. And, some things cost us some games there in special teams, but he's a different player now. Got a year under his belt. He's got that game experience where it's not like he's being thrust out there for the first time. So you can rely on him if you need him.
Yeah, it's sad because, with Alex, I feel just a couple of months ago, we were talking about how much better he looks and how Coach Freeze was saying he feels a lot better and he's doing well. And then now it's all right. He's not doing as well. His health is acting up again. It really, you go and you look at his personal life and his school and just how it's affecting his everyday life and how sad it is that he's got to deal with that again. So hopefully, obviously we want him on the field, but we also want him healthy in general.
No doubt. That's the most important thing. Obviously football for him is a big part of his life, but his life is the most important in him getting all this stuff figured out. Tubbs said if Singleton wore pads in his pants, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Look, we saw the equipment stuff on Friday this past week, on the HSA side, people cracking down all over the state about the knee pads. And look, with the ability to move and be a little bit more versatile, but when you get popped right and you don't have those pads, I mean, then now you have to suffer the consequences. So, yeah, I mean, I've been saying it. The pads have been creeping up, or the pants have been creeping up the last 10 years. I mean, they look like dang biker shorts. I mean, they really do. They look like biker shorts. I mean, I don't even know if you can call those pants. That, you know, the practice pants that they wear are basically shorts, but their game pants ain't much different. I mean, let's be honest about it. So it's you've gotten away from protecting your body in a very brutal sport for looks and versatility. Well, you ain't gonna be very versatile if you're sitting on the sideline. So I happen to agree with Tubbs on this one. I think that he's got a good point.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially, you see the receivers and how they're a little bit thinner. They've got muscle, but they can't take the same kind of hits that some of these guys with a lot more weight on them can. And I mean, you get one hit the wrong way and you got that bone bruise, or you got something like that where you're out for however long.
Right. Well, John brought it up, so let's go ahead and get to it. Do we have any idea if Auburn Baylor might be on YouTube? It ain't going to be if they don't sign a deal coming up today, 5 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah.
Is what it is, YouTube TV. And if you'll remember, last year or year before or whatever, it was Disney and whatever they were having a dispute with. I think Spectrum and Disney were having a dispute, and everybody was worried. Like, everybody wanted to watch that Florida-Utah game, and they couldn't watch it if they had Spectrum. So a lot of people flipped over to YouTube TV, and they're like, well, I can watch it there. I'll get that. Now guess who's having a squabble? You're having YouTube with a squabble with the Fox network, okay? FS1, Fox News, Fox, and just so happens that Auburn Baylor are playing on Fox on Friday. So everybody needs to be paying attention to that. At 5 o'clock today, if they don't get it figured out, probably ain't going to be watching that game if you got YouTube TV. I'm just saying.
Yeah, everyone has to have their network be the one that has every game. And everyone's just, at this point, becoming their own individual networks. There's only some games you can watch on ESPN. There's only some games that you can watch on Fox, CBS. Like, everything in that sense is so it's just the media world in that sense.
Do you remember everybody going, I can't wait to cut the cord on cable. We got all these services and stuff now, and we don't have to be held hostage to the rate increases for cable and all this kind of stuff. Well, guess what people are doing now? They're paying more overall than what they were paying when they had just one service provider, because everybody's got to have Hulu. Everybody's got to have this. Everybody's got to have ESPN Plus. Everybody's got to have Paramount. Everybody's got to have Prime Video. Everybody's got to have Netflix. And all. Add all that stuff up. And they have it strategically placed where, oh, you can't watch that but on Peacock. Okay. What can you watch on Paramount? Oh, you can watch that on Paramount. Oh, what can you watch over here on Netflix? I mean, we have gone completely in a circle on this thing. And now everybody's like, well, it should have just kept cable and been done with it. I mean, every time you think something, oh, here's the next greatest thing. And of course, the streaming services, individual, you get to pick. Well, when they spread out everything that you want to watch over 5 or 6 or 7, and you got to pay every one of them, then now all of a sudden you're paying what you would have just paid to have one provider. So now you get in all these disputes. Well, I don't know, if I'm going to be able to carry that, or if we're going to sign a contract for it. And it always happens to be right before college football season starts. You ever notice that?
Yeah, it's definitely very convenient, isn't it?
Felt like that was something we needed to talk about, because I know a lot of you out there, I would be shocked if a lot of you don't have YouTube TV. So I know a lot of people that do.
Well, I know my parents do. And so I don't know what they're expecting to do if it's not on there.
Yep. The Weakest Link said Hulu and Fubo TV packages both will have the game. Fubo used to have a 2 to 3 day trial package you can sign up for. Watched Super Bowl on it last year. It's good. Okay. Yep. Justin said Fubo's the way to go until they have a dispute with somebody. And then because everybody went from Spectrum to YouTube TV, and now everybody's pissed at YouTube TV. I'm sure Fubo will screw up at some point in time. No, I'm just being funny, but I mean, it could. I'm sure it's all contractual. You know,
well, once Disney bought Hulu, and then now you can't even look up some of the Hulu things without going on the Disney app and stuff. There, it's a nightmare.
Clinton says Sling TV. Justice said, knock on wood, no disputes in 3 years. Yep. We'll see. I mean, again, it just changes all the time. So if you got YouTube TV, you need to be finding Fubo or whatever, Hulu, all the things. That's all I can tell you, because you won't be watching. Now, they may come to an agreement today, and everything may be fine, but I just thought it was worthy.
Before 4 p.m. Central.
That's it. So if not, be making plans to do it. Go to Bunkers and watch it if you can't get it at home. So don't panic. You can still see it. But glad we're going. How about that?
So, I know.
That'll be good. So yeah, if we live stream it, we'll probably get booted out, and then we'll get canceled. So probably not going to do that. Yeah, probably not going to do that either. So, but it's a good thought there, Justin. We'd have a lot of views, probably. Stream it right on our YouTube channel, right from the sideline. Don't know what our perspective would be, but I mean, it'd give you a different look. But can't do that. Not going to do that. So we don't want to be canceled in this world where things get canceled all the time. So, hey, I was glad to see Cracker Barrel. I'm glad to see that all that went away, and that new logo and all that just was like a leaf in the wind. It floated in and it floated out. Now we're back to why change all this stuff? I mean, just glad to see that too. So we don't want to get canceled. That's what my point is. So, all right, let's get to some more of our media partners here on the program. Old Number One Customs, downstairs in my house now, working away, 334-752-6162. If you need a remodel of a bathroom, kitchen, bedroom, whatever it is that you're looking for, outdoor living space built. It's fall, man. It feels so good outside right now. And I know it's still August, but man, what a great feel it is right now. You can have that later on in October, November. If you want an outdoor living space, you need to call them. They can go ahead and start working on that. Maybe have it ready for you for falls. You can build a fire out there, whatever. Can't you envision yourself sitting out there, lit outdoor living space by a fire? I can envision myself. You need to do the same. 334-752-6162.
Might as well get that Home Atlas water filter duo installed at the same time by JFA Blue Plumbing. They'll come in there and install that for just $15.99, which will have filtered water throughout every single pipe faucet in your house. And that's so important when it comes to what you could be consuming in your everyday water or showering in, or, your pets, everything like that. So you got to call on them, 844-JFA Blue. No
doubt about it. War Eagle to you, Jonathan. We get a War Eagle from you every day. I love it. Just keep them coming. So hopefully Friday, everybody, on our post-game reaction show brought to you by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine, which we were there yesterday. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. Tune us in. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you need to do that. You need to make sure you go out there and subscribe, so way you get that notification when we go live, because we can't tell you when we're going to go live after the game. We're going to be in the press conference, and then we're going to be getting out of the stadium. And then Faith and I are going to be trying to find a place to get the show started. So we'll do a little research on that prior to the game starting, figure out where we're going to be, and then maybe push some stuff out while we're out there saying, okay, we're going to be live from this place or wherever. And we'll be doing some live stuff before the game as well. So make sure you check us out on our Facebook and our YouTube page there. We'll be doing some stuff there. So excited. But Pepper Tree was awesome yesterday, as always, right?
Always. We love going over there, and had some really good conversations with different I had Coach Williams, you had Caden Pope, great guys that we got to talk to. And Always loved going over to Pepper Tree. Had a beautiful plate of food to eat after, and it was so good.
It was unreal. We're going to post that picture today, by the way. Didn't want to do it all at one time. We're going to post that. I mean, Jeff is a magician back there when it comes to cooking. So steak, ribs, chicken, pork chops, whatever it is that you want. And it is Labor Day coming up. It's Labor Day. You get the Labor Day specials at Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine right now. Just amazing. You need to go check them out. And you'll be the star of your Labor Day weekend when you cook all that unbelievable food from Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. So, all right, everybody, are we on Labor Day? The answer to that is no. No, we're not going to be on Labor Day. We're going to be taking that day off because we ain't going to have very many days off. We might do a recorded one Sunday. We'll see. We'll see. Might do one Sunday that you'll have to watch Monday. But as far as us being live Monday, no, we will not be. But I guess we'll go live if we tape one Sunday. It'll be live to people watching. But we'll let everybody know on that. So as we get closer. All right. Anything else, Faith?
Make sure after the show's over and we're no longer live to drop in the comments your score predictions, Auburn versus Baylor, with the tiebreaker being Jackson Arnold passing yards. So with that, you can win, some of the merch that we've got, Pepper Tree, gift certificates, gift cards, those kind of things. But you have to do it after the live is over because the comments go away after the live is off.
That's right. That's right.
Or send it to us on Instagram, anything like that.
I'm glad you brought that up yesterday because you've got, like Faith said, you got to do it after we go off. So you list those comments, they'll show up, and we'll know what your prediction is. All right. Passing yards for Jackson Arnold is the tiebreaker. Make sure you throw that in. That's important. All right, Faith, send everybody out.
I hope everybody has the best day ever.
And a big old
War Eagle.